Hi there, thanks for coming back today. The theme is the father's advice to his son. And this is our series of Solomon, part 3, from 1 Kings chapter 2, verses 1 through 4. Now the days of David drew near that he should die. And he charged his son Solomon, saying, I go the way of all the earth. Be strong, therefore, and prove yourself a man. And keep the charge of the Lord your God, to walk in his ways, to keep his statutes, his commandments, his judgments, and his testimonies, as it is written in the law of Moses, that you may prosper in all that you do and wherever you turn, that the Lord may fulfill his word which he spoke concerning me, saying, if your sons take heed to their way, to walk before me in truth with all their heart and with all their soul, he said, you shall not lack a man on the throne of Israel. Now in your life, perhaps there's been an older person, whether it's a father, mother, friend, or someone that you've watched approach death. Maybe they've been very precious to you, and you've heard some of the stories or some of the experiences that they shared with you and advice they gave you as they approached death. You know, it's very important that we listen to the advice of older people because they've been through all those experiences that we haven't had, and in our youth, we don't need to disregard their advice. We need to learn to listen to them and learn from their experiences that they share with us. So that's the idea here as David is charging his son Solomon. Now, I had an experience back in my late teen years when I went to work for one summer at a camp. Now, my father had met me as he tended to before I would start work at the camp, and he gave me this envelope. So when I arrived there at camp, I opened the envelope, and it said, a good name is very important, better than anything. Well, reading that verse from the book of Proverbs helped me as all the experiences of the summer continued. So in this case, here David is nearing death, and his young son, who doesn't have much experience as a king and needs wisdom from the Lord, after all that experience with Adonijah, his older brother, he still needed more advice on how to be a king. So David says, you need to be strong. Now, that word strong doesn't mean a tough man or a mean man, but it means a man who would stand strong and follow the Lord, not be weak. So he gave himself a challenge. Says, this is your charge from the Lord. So Solomon was given a very important responsibility as king of Israel. And it was God that gave him that responsibility. And his father is saying, this is your charge, your responsibility to walk in the laws of God, to follow his rules, his testimonies, his statutes, as it was written in the law of Moses. Now, did Solomon have the entire Bible like we have today? No, all he had was the beginning of the Old Testament that we call the Torah, just the first 5 books of Moses. We still have those books, but Solomon told him, you need to apply these words of God to your life, and God would bless you. I wonder, what about your life? Is your heart open to listen to David's advice that he gave his son? Are you strong? Are you following the Lord? God has put down all the things to help lead your life, but are you following them? Come back tomorrow and we'll see what happens as Solomon's life continues.